And now we are at number 7. And the 7th reason that he starts to care when you finally stop is that the threat of losing you finally became real. So here's the unfortunate reality. A lot of men have heard the threats of women claiming, I'm gonna let you go, or I'm not gonna tolerate this, or we're done, whatever, only to see the woman continue to come back or let them back in, things like that. And so it happens to, it gets to a point where the man doesn't take the woman serious, all right? Her words become empty. And that's why you have to be very careful as a woman. Don't say things you don't mean. Don't say things you're not gonna back up. Don't say some stuff like, if you do that, I'll never, again, just a random example. If you do that, I'll never cook for you again. And then tomorrow you're cooking for him again after he did it. Now you look like you just be talking, all right? And so when you stop to actually, when you finally get to a point where you stop caring, and he can see that and feel that because your actions have changed, you become so much more detached, you're not making the efforts that you used to make, and he starts to sense, or maybe in some examples, let's say you're married and you're like, all right, I'm done and I want a divorce. And now he's like, oh, snap. And again, for some guys, you just saying you want a divorce, you just saying you want to break up, it's not enough for them to really think, oh, she's serious. It might be when you present him with the papers. It might be when you pack your bags. It might be when you pack his bags and they're outside. As long as this isn't a reoccurring thing where you're always putting his stuff outside, that's when he's like, oh, snap, this is for real. And so this is when he steps up. And so, again, I think it's what I want to convey with this specific point is that you never want someone to think that no matter what they do, you're not going anywhere. I'm a firm believer that if that occurs, your relationship is done. And when I say done, it's in trouble. It will not be what it needs to be. No one should feel like they have a free pass to act a fool in your relationship and you're gonna accept it. What someone should believe is that as long as I do my part, you will be here with me. As long as I make effort. Now, please, let's not, people will say you got to be with them through thick and thin, the wedding vows to good and bad, worse and whatever. I forgot all the words. But the point is, people confuse that with people not making an effort. What I mean by that is this. Being through them through thick and thin is, for example, let's say he loses his job. He falls on hard times. I wouldn't want you to simply leave a man because he fell on hard times. But don't confuse falling on hard times and a man who's still trying to figure this out and be resourceful and useful in the household with a man who simply chooses to sit on the couch and do nothing. That's not thick and thin. That's just a man who's not making effort. That's a man who's not serious. That's a man you should not tolerate. Because now, if he is allowed to believe that he can sit there, make no effort to find work to provide, to be useful in the household, and you will remain with him, well, then he has no reason to step it up anymore. And he has no reason to take your threats serious. And he has no reason to start caring when you claimed you stopped caring. No, he will only start, maybe, when you actually show him you will walk away. But that kind of guy who would allow himself to sit there and do nothing, chances are, aside from what's coming to mind, aside from clinical depression or something like that, which even, you know what? I gotta say this. Even in cases of clinical depression and other issues of that nature, I understand being patient and compassionate with someone who's struggling with something like that. But it again does not give them a free pass to scapegoat the issue and not make an effort to do anything about it. So when someone says to me, oh, my man, and I'm just using this one example, my man's no longer working, but he's depressed, I don't want to leave him, he's struggling. Okay, cool. I understand why you're being patient with him. But he doesn't just get to rest on his depression. My question then becomes, okay, so what is he doing to fix the depression? Is he getting help? Is he going, I'm going to say going for medication only because that's what people do. I personally do not believe in medication. I am not a doctor. I am not giving you medical advice right now. I'm just someone who believes that when we go through things like depression, we can cure it with things like changing our diet, exercise, natural remedies. Again, that's just my personal position. But I know that many people out there, when they go through depression, they go to see someone, they get medicated. At least they're doing something. All right. So going back to that guy, is he even trying to fix it? Because if not, then no, he doesn't get a free pass. So again, yes, some men, until they finally think they're going to lose you, don't ever step up. But if he has to face the threat of losing you to even step up, is he really the guy for you? My thing is this. You expressing to him, and as I mentioned earlier, you have to express yourself effectively in a calm and loving manner. If you've done that and that is not enough to get him to want to step up, that's a problem. That's a problem because again, like they said, oh, well, people don't know what they had until it's gone. No, he knows what he had. He didn't think he'd lose you. But he should already be worried about losing a good thing. If he sees you as that, then he should already be willing to step up before he even has to face the reality of possibly losing you. So be sure that you understand that if it cannot be solved through communication and discussing the issues and being clear about what the problems are, then any other reaction later on when he thinks you stop caring is not a sign to continue to work with him, but it's just a clearer sign it's time to let him go. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Some people say you don't know what you have until it's gone. But in reality, for a lot of people, they knew what they had, but they never thought they'd lose it. And because of that, they become comfortable. And that starts to